panga mtunzi tiende pamozi tonse a Zambia mtima umozi chikondi chatu palibe kusiyana ndife amozi tieni tipange dziko latu.
Ladies and gentlemen, the circus has officially come to town, and its name is Chingola. The Copperbelt town that once fueled Zambia's economic dreams is now supplying something else, political chaos. It began like a harmless roadshow. The president was supposed to meet the people, speak about mining reforms, and maybe throw in a few smiles for the camera. But instead, the visit turned into an action movie, stones flying, sirens wailing, and a presidential motorcade making a sudden U-turn. And a crowd chanting the kind of slogans that don't exactly sound like "We love you, Mr. President." So, this is the aftermath. Now, 13 people have been arrested, accused of leading or fueling what the state politely calls Chingola violence. The Minister of Home Affairs, through Jake Muyimbu, says these weren't just overexcited citizens. No, they were unknown individuals with ulterior motives, which in Zambia political language means we are still trying to figure out whether to blame the opposition or the ghosts of PF. But let's be honest, this wasn't just random mischief. When a sitting president is forced to cut short his speech and retreat for safety in his own country, you don't call that a disturbance, you call that a political earthquake. And the tremors are still being felt from Lusaka to Kitwe. The Law Association of Zambia, through its president Lungisani Zulu, quickly entered the chat like a school prefect reminding everyone to behave. They condemned the violence, called for calm, and reminded the nation that the office of the president must be respected. And they are right, respect is due. But maybe, just maybe, the anger that erupted in Chingola wasn't about disrespect. It was about frustration. Because when the mines don't pay, when the jobs vanish, and when hope feels like a loan that never matures, even the calmest citizens start to see red. Still, the LAZ statement came with that lawyerly tone, all Latin phrases and constitutional concern, which sounds noble, but let's admit it, no one in Chiwempala stopped throwing stones because a lawyer in Lusaka quoted Section 3 of the Public Order Act. The reality on the ground doesn't understand legal English. It understands empty pockets, broken promises, and delayed mining licenses. Meanwhile, as all this unfolded, Zambia was busy polishing its international image, because at the exact same time that rocks were flying in Chingola, Israel's President Isaac Herzog was landing in Lusaka for a state visit. Talk about contrast. In one part of the country, presidential motorcades dodging stones. In another, red carpets being rolled out for global partners. It's almost poetic, a tale of two Zambians. One trying to impress investors, the other crying out for bread. Herzog's visit was supposed to be about strengthening ties in agriculture, tech and innovation, the usual diplomatic menu. But somewhere in the middle of the press photos and speeches, the foreign dignitaries must have wondered, wait, is this the same Zambia where the president can't finish a speech without dodging projectiles? Because if optics were currency, Lusaka just lost a few million kwacha. And just when you thought the week couldn't get more dramatic, the state suddenly opposed bail for Bowman Lusambo, arguing he shouldn't be released yet. Now, isn't that something? On one hand, we are told Zambia is a nation of law and order. On the other, it's starting to look like a script written by Netflix. Riots, arrests, court battles, and international visitors all in one episode. The title? The Copperbelt Chronicles, How to Lose Your Crowd in 30 Seconds. But let's step back and ask the bigger question. what really happened in Chingola, because the official story is that it was isolated. Yet this is the same Copperbelt that has been simmering for months. Senseli mine, small-scale miners, disputes over licenses. The ingredients have been there all along. Add a dash of political fatigue and a sprinkle of unemployment, and you have the perfect recipe for a riot. You can't keep telling people that the economy is booming while they are counting coins for lunch. You can't keep promising that mining reforms are coming while the only thing coming is a convoy of police trucks. And you can't expect calm in a town that feels forgotten, no matter how many state visits you host in Lusaka. What's interesting is how quickly officials framed the Chingola chaos as an attack on the presidency rather than a cry from the people. It's always about protecting the dignity of the president, never about protecting the dignity of the hungry. The crowd wasn't armed with ideology, just anger. But in politics, anger is enough to be called treason. And yes, it's true. The president reportedly told his security detail not to use force. That's commendable. A rare show of restraint in a region where police usually treat tear gas like perfume. But even that decision has political cost. Because when a leader walks away instead of standing ground, critics start whispering about weakness. So now the headlines read both ways. Hichilema avoids bloodshed for some, and Hichilema flees protesters for others. Meanwhile, the online space exploded. Hashtags flying, blame games raging, and opposition supporters celebrating the chaos like it was a by-election. PF loyalists saw it as proof that the people have spoken. UPND diehards called it sabotage. But the truth lies somewhere between. Chingola was neither revolution nor rebellion. It was simply a mirror, showing what happens when politics loses touch with reality. And in that mirror, Zambia is seeing something uncomfortable. A country trying to protect stability abroad while cracking at the seams at home. You can't host foreign presidents and pretend everything is fine when your own citizens are rioting on the streets. You can't preach democracy at press conferences while arresting your frustrations out of sight. Because eventually, even the silence of the Copperbelt starts to echo louder than your speeches. So yes, the Chingola Circus continues. And like any good circus, it has clowns, ringmasters, and spectators. The only problem is the tickets are free, but the cost is national embarrassment. And as the 2026 elections draw closer, everyone is pretending not to hear the drums. But they are getting louder. Every protest, every arrest, every legal case, every rumor, they are all rehearsals for the big show. The Chingola riot wasn't an isolated act of chaos. It was a trailer for what's coming if those in power keep mistaking public frustration for political conspiracy. So, while LAZ write letters, police file charges, and diplomats shake hands, the ordinary Zambian in Chingola is left wondering one thing. Who is really listening? Because the last time anyone listened, it wasn't at a rally. It was a riot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zambian Files, where we decode the circus so you don't have to buy the ticket. If you believe Zambia deserves better than political theater and flying stones, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment saying we are watching, and let's keep the pressure on those who think leadership is a magic trick. The circus must end someday, but for now, the show goes on.
Tieni tonse tikumbukire kale pa independence tulandile bwino bakaunda anati one Zambia one nation. misozi ya freedom tinailila tonse. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Awe bachiluba mwana wa mkombo, baneni anabweresa demokrasi. Pa mwamba wa suti, pa moyo wa moyo, katundu wa mziko anaseguka. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Rest in peace, Levi mwana wasa, muntu wa nchito, muntu wa chilungamo. Anayimilira corruption, anatibweresera moyo wa mtendere. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Banda wa mpato wose kantawi zonse, analimbitsa ubale na Afrika. Anatipaza chikondi, monga bambo wa banja lonse. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Chobra wa nchito, wakwitu, anagwira nchito, analankula straight. Boma ni boma, anati, akalipa nalingati moto. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Balungu na scarf, mtawi ya mpepo, anayenda mavuto, ziko linayenda. Koma mumtima, chifundo shinali, analimbikitsa kukulupirika. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. From kaunda to Hakainde, tili pamoji, one nation. Hichilema wa mabizinesi, mwana wa mumuzi, analimbikira mpaka daimilira. Amasoku Zambia ya kale, amalota jiko la topano. Zambia yatu, moyo watu, tilili moji, monga kale. One nation, one nation, unity forever, amen. Tu Hakainde, tonse ndife anachikolino. Tisunge mtendere, tisunge ulemu, Zambia ya